Hey guys, this is Ash from inspector-training.com, and this is part 3 of API 653 above ground storage tank inspector examination video. In part 3, we're going to talk about the exam tutorial. Remember that in part 1 we talk about the general information, the exam structure, how the exam questions are, and then in part 2 we talk about how the exam questions are made, the publication effectivity sheet and body of knowledge, and then here we are going to talk about exam tutorial. This is the first document you will look at during the exam before you actually start the exam. It tells you how the buttons work, how you need to go from question to question, review them, answer them. So it's always better to have a look at it before the exam, so you have less stress. Have a headache of seeing how this works. So click on the exam tutorial. So once you have walked into a Prometric test center, and you should have your government issued photo ID with you, like a driving license and a passport, and they should be valid, very important, otherwise they will refuse you entry and you have to reschedule, and it's as good as failing the exam. So then they will ask you a few security questions. They ask you to empty your pocket. You cannot carry anything with you inside the examination room. They take your picture. They ask you to sign off. They ask you security questions, and they make sure that for example, if you are wearing glasses, it doesn't have any hidden camera in it. So they direct you to your desk, and then once you sit behind your desk, this desktop, because this is a computer-based test, it will ask you that if this is a correct API 563, above ground storage tank inspector is the exam you are attending, and whether this is your name, okay? And you have to confirm yes, then it will redirect you to the tutorial that you see here, okay? And they would say, welcome to tutorial. It has 170 questions. This exam, 390 minutes or 6.5 hours in total. It's a 2-part. So you see all this explanation that we already told you about the part 1. You have a 45-minute break, and remember that if you come later than your 45-minute break, you're actually taking the time off your open book part. So the first is the closed book, 2 hours 45 minutes. There will be a 45-minute break, and then automatically the 45 minutes after you finish or you run out of time on your closed book, the open book automatically starts, whether you are at your desk or not. So always try to come before the 45-minute break to go through the same security check again. So every time you go out, say for your break or to go to the toilet between the exam, you leave the exam room, you have to go through the same security check. Okay? As any check. And it asks you that please review this tutorial before you start your exam. And there will be a calculator on the screen during the exam with a calculator item. This is how your exam is going to look like. Would be, in your case, if you are attending 653 above ground storage tank inspector, there would be 653 on the top left-hand side, and on the top right-hand side would be your name. And then in the middle, normally somewhere in the middle, at the top, it will be the time remaining. So the minute you start the test, the clock starts ticking. Okay, and the questions that you are attending, it will be a pointed arrow, so you know at which question you are. And once you answer the question, it turns color, it becomes dark. So you know which question you have an answer or which question you have answered. And you have to click next to go to the next page. And if you opted for translation, there are few languages like Spanish, Portuguese, Chinese that you can opt for, and the question comes in bilingual, both English and that language that you have selected. And then you click. The next page is talking about the time remaining, which I just told you. Okay, for this section, so as you go along, this tutorial is maximum of 10 minutes, or if you finish this earlier. And during the exam, if you say finish section, it will ask you, do you really wish to finish this section of the exam? And if you say yes, it will again ask you, if you finish it, you're not allowed to come back to this. And if you again say yes, the exam is finished earlier than before the time runs out. I don't advise that. Utilize all the time you have, even if you have some extra time, go through those flagged up questions and make sure that you answered all the questions to the best of your knowledge, because there is no negative marking, so that increases your chances of passing. So the mouse would be like an arrow, so that's like any other desktop, how you use the mouse. And if the question is too long, it says this page requires scrolling, so you have to scroll down with your mouse to see the whole question if the question is too long. And there is a calculator icon. If you need a calculator, it's non-scientific, because the calculation you're supposed to do is all subtraction, multiplication, or division. So you don't need a scientific calculator. So this is a calculator that looks like, so you can do your calculation here. Okay, on your desktop. And then if you answer the question, this turns say darker or dark green or black. If you flag up a question, for example, you answer a question, but you're not absolutely sure you chose the right answer, still answer it. And but you can flag it off. There is a flag off button, and those questions will be flagged off. And at the end is the best way to do that. You don't want to waste too much time on each question. Remember that I said at least you could answer 40 questions per hour on a closed book part, and 16 questions in the open book part of the exam, in order to, finish all the questions within the allocated time. But obviously you need to do a bit faster, because you need some 15, 20 minutes to go through those flagged up questions and look at see that if you have chosen the best answer, or you want to take a few minutes to see that you have answered all the questions, there is no question left unanswered, that sort of thing. And then the next page, if you click, if there is a multiple question, it will tell you that that this is a multiple question. Okay. Now, if you choose the answer, it changes color, so you know that this one you have chosen the answer, as you can see here. And if there is a multiple question, it also says that select the two that apply. So you know that you have to select two, not one. There's a very, very few multiple questions recently has been introduced. I've heard not all the exams, so my time and the candidates that I heard up to a couple of years ago, there was no multiple. Right? They say they are experimenting that. So you have to choose to answer, and there would be a drag and drop. If there's a drag and drop, you have to click on that, pull it down to the box. For example, December and June go to the month of the year box, and horse and dog goes to the animal box, like this. Again, I haven't encountered such a question, but if that is what they ask you for, that's how it works. So you have to click on that box, pull it down the box, and it will drop there. And connecting the dots or um, answering extended matching items. For example, if you want to connect the dog to canine, so you click on dog and then click on canine box, and there will be a line drawing connecting the dog to canine and similar. If you want to deactivate that, then you can click on canine again and say click on a line, for example. So the dog would be connected to per line. So every time you click on that, it activates or deactivates that box. And this plugin question, I found it particularly useful. Don't waste too much time as a general rule, more than 1 minute on closed book on average, and more than 2 minutes on open book. If you can't find within 2 minutes the answer in the reference document, then flag it up, use your punch, answer it, but flag it up so that by accident you don't leave anything unanswered, okay? And then at the end, allocate some 15, 20 minutes to look at all these flagged up questions once again, rather than being panicking or be short of time. So do a proper time management during the exam. You can highlight the text by clicking on that part of text and dragging the mouse, and it will highlight that area if you want to concentrate on that. And also, if you right click on the answer, for example, you have 4 answers, and you know that 2 of these answers are absolutely wrong. So you want to focus on the 2 best possible answers. So in order to focus on that, you might want to strike them off. So what you would do is you put the mouse on that box and right click. By right clicking, you strike off that, so you can concentrate on the 2 remaining answers and then choose one that's best suited according to your judgment. Remember that during the open book, the search button is disabled, where it's got all this, zoom in, out. So if you want to look at the document bigger, so you will have a list of documents like this, and by clicking this area, the reference one, you can be on the document you already are on. So this will be vanished when you hit on reference. When you hit again on reference with the mouse, the list of documents comes in. Now you're on 510. On the left-hand side, you have the column for content. Now, some documents like ASME documents, they are very long documents, 1,000 pages. And if you're looking, for example, it's in ASME 5, but you don't know exactly where it is. And even the contents are a very long list. So my advice would be that go to all these contents. They also have at the end a list of tables and list of figures. So you can look at list of tables and list of figures, and that would quickly take you to the where you can find the answer for a open book question. Okay, but anyway, there is no hard and fast rule. You need to solve open book question without using the search button because this is disabled during the exam. So to get used to it, to practice, to know where to look for a particular type of question. Okay. And if it takes more than 2 minutes, flag it off, answer, just put some answer, flag it off, and the chances are that when you're looking answers to other questions, you find the answer to this question. Somehow it worked for me, it might work for you. But don't get stuck to a question too much. You can also provide feedback for each question, but remember that this feedback coming off your allocated time. The time wouldn't stop when you give feedback or you go to toilet, etc. And at the end, you can filter, you can see all the questions, the list, or you can just filter it by flagged up question or for unattempted question. I normally click on unattempted to see that, to make sure that I haven't left any question unattempted. I've answered all the questions because there is no negative marking to increase your chances, as I said. And then I click on filter it by a flagged up question. So click on the flag box and you see all the flagged up questions, and then I can go to those questions and look at them once again on my remaining time to make sure that really, whatever left time, I've answered those questions correctly, Now, if you want to end before the time, if the time runs out, automatically it goes, you can't do anything. It will tell you and you have to leave. But if the time doesn't, you think you want to finish it earlier, there is a finish section. So once you hit the finish section, it will ask you twice. One says that you have not attempted all the questions in this section. Time is still remaining. If you select to finish, you will not be able to return to this section if you haven't attempted all the questions. Are you sure you want to finish this section and you still want to go ahead and leave some of them unattempted, and you say yes, then that's it. You say, yes, I would like to finish the section. Again, it will ask you, if you select finish section, your answer will be submitted and you will not be able to return to this section. So it gives you a second warning here. And if you still click on finish section, then obviously the section will finish and that's it, pretty much. You can't return back to it. Okay, so this was the tutorial things about that. We will also go through some frequently asked questions, etc. But overall, this is a part for tutorial. Have a look at it. If you have any question, you can ask us. We have a WhatsApp line on our website, inspector-training.com. And this is the end of the part 3 of exam tutorial for API 653 above ground storage tank inspector examination. In part 4, we will talk about schedules and fees. Thank you.